for editing na
Okay.
editing naman.
Yeah, recording starting. So basically, I'm here right now recording. See, AD. AD is my cousin-in-law, I guess, because he's married to my cousin, and he lives in Camotes, and we're gonna interview him for today. He has a very nice story. I saw him a month ago. Was it a month ago? Over here in Seattle.
Oh,
Yeah, something
August.
like that.
August.
Because he attended a very big conference over there. So, are you ready? Ready, AD? We're gonna start.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
First question is, can you give us your full name?
English, Tagalog.
Doesn't matter. You can Tagalog, English, Bisaya, doesn't matter. Anong gusto mo?
Okay.
Nasa iyo lang. Or saksak sinagol in Bisaya.
So I'm Adriel Dave Alvarez.
Okay.
My friends call me AD. People close to me call me AD. Just my
Okay.
initial.
Mm-hmm. Do you mind tell us how old you are? If you don't mind,
I
or
just I just turned 50 this year.
oh, okay. Anyway, AD, where were you born?
I'm born in the province of Laguna, in a
Okay,
small town called Paete, Paete, Laguna.
Paete. Okay. And is that where you grew up, or
No, I grew up. Part of my childhood was in Laguna. Part of it is in Cavite, but most of uh, of course, my college life is in Manila, and then
ano?
after college, professional life, most of it is in Visayas.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood? You know, I mean, stuff that you remember, things like that. Kind of significant for you.
Um, I remember we grew up not having so much. We are my parents are church workers. So in the
Okay.
Philippines, when you are a church worker, your basically your income is from donations and gifts, and so there are five siblings, all boys. So we
Mm.
grew up. There's that financial struggle, but we get by.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, by God's grace, we were able to get scholarships, and I have a working scholarship in college, so I work. But uh, we were doing well in our academics, so somehow that helped. Um, so we learned to be independent when we were young. We were I myself I've learned to be entrepreneurial. I remember selling sago, or that's the equivalent to the U.S. Lemonade.
Mm.
Uh, um, and I would that electric tape. I think this is a cute story because the electric tape, the different color of electric tape. I
No.
would
Mm-hmm.
the ones the electricians use.
Yes.
It's a um, I remember cutting those as letters
Mm-hmm.
in the alphabet, and I was selling them to my classmates as letter cutting so they could stick it on their bags,
Wow.
or so they can spell their name or things like that. So in a young age, like I think I was in fifth grade when I was doing
So you grew up with a lot of different side hustle then.
that. Yeah, tried to because it's hard to
Was never
see.
enough.
Yeah, you see your classmates, and during that time, if you have 5 peso allowance for the week, that was big already. We were having like 25 cents and one bread and one small. That was like it was depressing, but somehow it pushed me to find ways to find a
Yes.
living.
Where did you go to
Or
high school?
high school in Cavite, it's an agricultural school, but I was part of a curriculum called science class. It was an experimental curriculum. Right now in the Philippines, there is so much science high school, but during our time
Mhm.
in that province in Cavite, it was I think we were one of the pioneer
Okay.
curriculum. So they experimented whether we can understand college subjects. In that time, I was High school, we have statistics for our thesis, and we have soil science.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we were our teachers were not high school teachers, but college professors, because the high school was part of a college university.
Okay. And then later on, where did you go to college?
College, I was intending to be a computer engineer,
Okay.
but that got diverted because again, poverty was the main thing. We can't afford to go to college, and I was looking for scholarship, but I was not able to get scholarship in time. So we I just visited my mom's school. It's a Bible college. So I went to that Bible college and studied theology for my course degree. But it's a degree course, unlike other Bible colleges. So if
Okay.
I pursue other master's degree, I don't need to repeat the whole college
Oh, okay.
course.
So
So
did you get
it's
your degree in theology then? Is that what?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. But after college, my involvement was I was not really intending to be a pulpit preacher, although
Okay.
I can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there's more to talking about God's love by doing action. So that led me to work as a into different fields of social development. That's how I got involved with microfinance after
Okay.
college.
Okay. So after college, was that your first job then in the microfinance? Is that or
No, I taught for a year for high school as a values teacher,
oh, okay.
uh, and also I handled youth ministry, so I was a youth pastor for a time. But all throughout college, I was also doing uh, OJT ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, my second job was the microfinance
Okay. And where was that? Was that still in Cavite or somewhere else? Or
in
how did you get that
in
job,
Man.
the microfinance?
I forgot. I also have training jobs as a trainer, and then after
Training,
that,
what do you mean training? Training as a what? Training people for something?
yeah, I was a part of a yeah, human resource department.
Okay.
And then when I got married, I need to find a job closer to home. Um, so there was a job opening in this microfinance company, and
Mhm.
that's how I started working there. And then 2 years there, uh,
Where was that located? The microfinance company.
in Manila,
Okay.
in Valenzuela.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where I got heavily involved in uh, community development, doing microfinance. I went to Bangladesh.
Mhm.
Then I got involved with UNDP projects in the Philippines. I was part of a consultant team, and then uh, in after those states, I started my own microfinance company in Bacolod.
Oh, okay. Um,
And
I know you married my cousin now. Where did you guys meet?
we met at my Bible college canteen because
Oh,
the radio station was beside our campus. So it's a student price canteen. So the employees from the neighboring radio station would go to eat at our canteen. So I saw her. She was friends with my brother, older brother. So
okay.
it's a small area community. So we get to know almost everybody.
So this was in Manila, right? Or
Yes, in Manila.
Manila. Okay. And then and you guys moved to Bacolod? What's
Yes, when I was a consultant in Bacolod, we moved to Bacolod, and then we like the setup of Bacolod. It's a lot easier than Manila.
Mhm.
we were starting a family, so we said it's much better for building a family at that time.
So when you were in Bacolod, you were still doing microfinance then. That's
Yeah, that's really what I was doing. And Hazel was she was doing media work still with radio, and then part of our lives in Bacolod, she worked with TV station there
okay.
in Bacolod.
Yes. Yes, I'm gonna be talking to Hazel about that, and I will be
Okay,
interviewing
yeah,
her too. Remember our conversation in Seattle?
yeah,
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 so
sure, sure.
that's gonna be a project. I'm gonna be talking to her, but that's gonna be a different story. But anyway, okay, after Bacolod, you guys ended up in Camotes. How did that happen? You know what?
Um,
How did that get about?
yeah, your family have lands in Camotes,
Okay.
and since Hazel's mom was living in Legazpi, and we were closer, yeah, relatively closer.
Mm-hmm.
We were tasked to check up on the land
Mm-hmm.
occasionally. So from Bacolod, we would go here regularly, and then that the burden to help. We saw a lot of poverty in Camotes, so the burden to help the people of Camotes was growing over the years of coming here, and also it's we were thinking of retiring, quote unquote retiring, earlier than what we don't want to retire that we were old. We
Mm-hmm.
want to have we want to retire and we can still do something. So we
When you
left
say
our
retiring from the 9 to 5 job and
yeah,
is
retiring
what
from
you
our
want to do.
careers. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then it was just a decision that was developing. We decided to leave our professional careers,
Mm-hmm.
good paying jobs, like my microfinance job was good paying,
Mm-hmm.
and Hazel's career in media was still at the peak. But because our heart was really to help, because what would you do if you enrich yourself personally, and maybe have lots of money, and when you go, that's about it.
Yeah.
So we thought of we thought of well, um, we believe God will not leave us alone, or not provide with for us when we are old anyway. So we might as well do something that would impact a lot of people, even though it's risky. We know the risk,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but there were times that we were being asked by our friends and family, why don't you go overseas and migrate somewhere else? There are better opportunities. We don't say that's bad. It's just uh, it could have been a good strategy, but the burden in our hearts to do something urgently to help others or create opportunities for others was much bigger, and so we decided to take that sacrifice. And part of that story we shared to you and to our family and friends,
Okay.
and it's been 14 years we've been here.
Looking back, since you made your move to Camotes, was there any regrets, or do you think you did the right decision, or is it something that you think that's correct, or there's some regrets in your back of your head saying, I don't did we make the right decision, or was it something wrong or something?
There are
Times.
different kinds of regrets uh, we experience. One regret we experienced was why we didn't move earlier. Like
Okay.
why didn't we just went here before Bacolod, and we
Mhm.
could have done more.
Okay.
Because in the 14 years we saw that our impact although we already have an impact, but it's very slow.
Mm.
Changing the mindset is a slow, very slow process.
Yeah, it's a
Of
long-term
course,
process. Yeah.
yeah. And some of the other regrets we have is uh, we could have uh, we could have learned and push harder uh, on the advocacies we were trying to do, because the next thing we know, I'm 50 years old, Hazel's 59. We're
Yes.
we're we're already old, and we could have done so much more if we moved earlier.
Right.
Some petty regrets, I call it quote unquote petty regrets, was
Yes.
uh, why why we did not uh, uh, migrated overseas, and could have been more comfortable, uh, more, we don't need to struggle on a year-to-year basis when but I call it petty because
Yes.
we're alive, we're okay, we have 3 meals a day, we are
Mhm.
able to help others even though it's not that appreciated as much, but
Mhm.
it in God's books, it's still written somewhere. So
Oh, okay.
he will never forget that.
And career-wise, that was a big move from microfinance and to farming. I mean, it's like a totally different lifestyle. Becoming a farmer from doing,
From above.
microfinance work, which
Yeah.
is mostly numbers and, and money, and going to farming. And how did
Yeah.
that change? I mean, how did that affect you and your family? And, was it something that you enjoy doing? Things like that? Or,
Well, we're still in the middle of it, and
okay.
uh, um, uh, for the Philippines, probably it would be like a very challenging, because agriculture in the Philippines is not a business opportunity. Not yet.
Mhm.
In terms of compared to other places, when the conditions are right, like in Western countries, uh, agriculture is a business opportunity because the situations are right. Like the market is there,
Mhm.
uh, the the value chain is well set up. Although it remains to be a very important
Mhm.
part of the society. The Philippines is still young as a country uh, compared to other Western countries. So
Right.
it still has to develop. And I'm sure the people, if you look back in the Western countries' history, the people probably around the same time we are doing what we're doing now was also struggling in agriculture
Mhm.
until they have mastered. So we're building something for the future generation, which
Right.
is okay. Um, and uh, there will be comparison of whether it's really a bad move or not. But for some, it depends on who you're talking to, the value system. For some, money is a comfortable thing. That's good. But the for some like us, we take comfort that what we're doing is gonna impact the future generation. So
Yes.
and it does. In Camotes, in a small place like this, uh, many many things in the 14 years we affected the community, although it is not yet fully appreciated, but it's okay.
Well, you're doing your job. I mean, if you think about it, if every person in this earth, you know, did something good to make the world a little bit better, can you imagine if everybody has that done something to, make the world a little bit better? Then we'll be a lot better, right? And the society will be a
Yeah,
lot better. I mean, if everybody has that in their head, let's leave this world with, make it a nicer place, than when we came in. and with so
Yeah.
many people in this world, so another question I want
Eventually.
to ask you, yeah, is your involvement, because you've been going out of the country and representing the
Mhm.
Philippines in farming. How did that get, came in, and how did that start?
Well, it happened in the story. It began in the story of our relative success in Camotes.
Okay.
Um, when we arrived in Camotes, farmers around here were planting corn and they were harvesting 300 to 600 kilograms per
Mhm.
hectare. So
Okay.
I said, this is not viable. So with my executive skills and my exposure in microfinance and development, I said
Mhm.
something has to be done. So I researched and found a way to increase that yield. So we brought in the technology. Of course, people don't want to accept the technology. Islanders are very they doubt so much what outsiders are going to bring in. So that's
Mhm.
normal in any
Yeah.
society, probably.
Mhm.
Um, so when we planted in using your uncle's land, Tito Silvio, or dad's land
Mhm.
as a demonstration farm, we were being criticized by farmers around because I was not a experienced farmer or a credible farmer at that.
Mhm.
So we planted the and used the what's available out there as a technology,
Mhm.
and from 600 kilograms per hectare, we were yielding 8,400 kilograms per hectare. So the impact of technology, the right technology application,
Mhm.
that's 12,000 1,200% increase.
Right. So
So
that was a big thing, and people
yeah, that
noticed.
was the people in Camotes noticed, and it was a perfect demonstration of how a technology
Technology.
can be used to increase production. And that story got passed along. So the first story that story was passed along to people from Cornell University. So they
Mhm.
invited me to attend a global training for farmers, farmer leaders
Mhm.
uh, in Illinois. That was my first time to go to the US. And
Okay.
the following year, I was invited to be part of the farmers network called the Global Farmer Network
Mhm.
that was held during the World Food Prize, which the World Food Prize is like the Nobel Prize for
Mhm.
agriculture.
Okay.
So during that event, there was a roundtable discussions from farmers from different countries. Um, I was selected out of I think 200 candidates. I was part of a 13 member roundtable discussion, and the world leaders attending the World Food Prize was observing our discussions, and that was the I again that was the first time I represented the Philippines as a farmer,
Okay.
and then we got in that if you become a member of the Global Farmer Network, you will get exposed to the networks of advocacy. So you're basically trained to become a speaker to forums. So just recently, I represented the Philippine farmers, actually almost the Asian farmers,
Mhm.
for the APEC summit meeting.
In Siam.
That was where, yeah, in Seattle.
Mhm.
APEC is a it's basically a ongoing discussion how to create better trades and better technology to share among countries of Asia Pacific economies
Mhm.
around Asia Pacific. Um, I was also in February. I was in Argentina, part
Mhm.
of the Global Farmer Network.
Mhm.
Um, but and then of course you have online forums and discussions about agriculture, uh, and even here in local media, they once in a while we get interview, and now I'm also part of the Philippine. Maize Federation as the secretary,
Mhm.
and we are speaking for and behalf of the farmers who are not able to speak. That's one advantage we have. We with my training as a, a minister, and also as used to be an executive director of a corporation or microfinance.
Mhm.
Um, with that exposure, and then now being a farmer, we need to get the farmer voices out there. So that's one thing that really
Mhm.
is good, because food is essential. I mean, if
Yes.
you if you're born, and then there are two things you need in life, that is food and oxygen.
Mhm.
And people in agriculture are actually helping to produce that the food and the incidentally the oxygen when they plant their crops.
Right.
uh, Contrary to the negative campaign that the farmers, like the cattle ranchers, are increasing the greenhouse gases. That's just a stuff of propaganda. So
Yeah.
anyway, uh,
So how's life in Camotes right now? Is how's
uh,
everything going right now? I heard you're planting chili now, chili. Is that
peppers, yeah,
pepper? Yeah.
chilies, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We because our demo we call it a mission farm. Our demo farm is always trying to model something that the farmers can copy.
Mhm.
We did it with corn. The corn is still ongoing. It's an ongoing development. Just recently we did buying center.
Mhm.
We are now a buying center for corn. So if
Oh, wow.
farmers are interested to buy to plant corn,
So
because
when
of
you
their
say
small
buying center, you're basically buying the other farmer's corn, and then you're like the middleman now, buying other
uh,
people's corn,
yeah,
and then sell it
uh,
to
yeah,
different.
well, like let me just explain the middleman. Sometimes it's being demonized as the bad people of the value chain.
Mhm.
Actually, the 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 all parts of the value chain are important, like
Mhm.
the truckers, the sellers, the traders, and it has to be checked. I mean, there will always be abuse somewhere,
Yes.
because especially if the transportation and the process of transferring the production to the consumer, there will be an abuse if there is no check and balance. So
Mhm.
it's not that the middlemen are evil. So having said that, um,
They do have a role
it,
in the whole process. I mean,
it's
the
a very
people needs a
important
market,
role.
so the
Yeah,
farmers need a
yeah,
market, and the the buyers, which are the one getting it, I mean, collecting
yeah.
it, so
They're
so
the one
there's a
providing
market.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're providing the service
Yeah.
to. So having said that, Kamote's situation, the reason why there's so much poverty is we are uh, in between the cracks. We're part of Cebu
Mhm.
uh, province, but we're detached. So we're not a priority in terms of trade. We're not a priority in terms of economic development,
Mhm.
because it takes more to produce here, because we're gonna import fertilizer, etc. And then we're like a country in the middle of somewhere.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a challenging economy.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
someone has to take that role to be the trading post
Mhm.
for the local farmers. Because if you have a small land holding, like if you have 1/4 hectare, you will harvest about 2,000 kilos of corn. Let's say corn. Uh, you won't spend a lot of money and time to bring it to Cebu, where
Yeah,
the
of course.
buyer.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
so there's no development that will happen if there's no trade.
Mhm.
So somebody has to take that role responsibly. That's the qualifying term.
Mhm.
Uh, in Bisaya, hindi lang pataka na
Yeah.
there should be not, the price should be not abusive. So
Mm.
so what we did was we we broker a good price on the buyer's end, and
Mm.
the buyer was generous enough to give us the premium price for the corn.
Mhm.
So based on that, we were able to buy it in the premium price as well from the
Mhm.
farmers.
Okay.
Uh, uh, that was one of the continuing projects. Of course, the chili is another innovation we're doing, uh, because chili can be produced better, I think, in places like Camotes,
Mm.
because we're not flood prone,
Yes.
and having that situation, and chili commands a premium price.
Right.
So so we are trying to introduce that as a production line.
Mhm.
There's a global demand for chili, so it
Mm.
actually can be developed into an export product. Like if it's dried and powdered, there are more values there. So that's where we are heading right now. We just started demonstrating it, like what we did with corn. We're
Okay.
demonstrating it in the community, introducing it. So we're learning the challenges. Like now, there's the anthracnose and the diseases, the labor challenge,
Mhm.
because it's more labor intensive compared to corn.
Right.
Sorry for deep agricultural
No, no, no,
discussion.
no, no. This is good. This is good. Actually,
So
AD, we're thinking after I talked to you about about the Sealy here in Seattle. I talked to
yeah,
Alonso, because we're gonna go into it. So the one
yeah,
in
it's
our
good. It's
7
good.
hectares in Danau, we're
Yeah,
gonna do it a Sealy farm, and I'm gonna talk to you about it because I need your help, so we can do
yeah,
something there.
definitely,
Yeah. So.
definitely. The market is very promising, especially when you dry it,
Mhm.
because it has longer shelf life
Mhm.
and it has wider. And you just look at the story of the sriracha story,
Right.
from 5,000 hectares to 35,000 hectares
Mhm.
chili production. And it was not enough to a point that they had a misunderstanding, and then they parted ways. And now sriracha is, you cannot find sriracha because they're having a hard time. I heard that
Mhm.
having a hard time to source where they're
Get the Sealy.
no, so that's one thing. Uh, Imagine the impact if Camotes as an economy is the one exporting products.
Mhm.
Uh, so money will flow in,
Mhm.
meaning, um, let's say in corn alone, from negative cash flow of 10,000 per hectare, on the old farming system, uh, the farmers can now have a positive 40,000 income on corn per hectare. That's
That's
huge.
yeah, it is.
Money is coming in.
Mhm.
Um, of course, agriculture has its own challenges in terms of climate and price drops. I was a victim of a price drop.
Mhm.
Uh, 4 years ago, we were already at 40 hectare of production of yellow corn.
Mhm.
Um, on our own. We were doing the operation on our own. We were not financing other farmers because
Mhm.
they were not ready to adapt. So I said, if we're gonna wait for them to be ready, this would take a longer time. So we took the risk, uh, but it was not a bad business decision. It was just the situation that agriculture is challenged. Like we when we expanded for 2 years, the price was around 16 to 18 pesos per kilo of corn. So
Mhm.
2 years, we said it looks stable enough. We can go expand. So I talked
Okay.
to Hazel. We have a serious discussion of numbers and etc. But during the 40, when we expanded, this is the part of the band. You've been into business in the
Mhm.
real estate. You know when bad things
Right.
happen, it happens. So
Yes.
it's not because you're a bad businessman. It's just
Mm.
the economy.
The timing.
So
Yeah.
the timing. So when we had the 40 hectares, we harvested around 200,000 uh, uh, 200,000 metric tons. Um, we were hit by uh, not 200 metric tons, it's 200,000 kilos or 200 metric tons. We were hit by a price drop from 18 to 10 pesos.
My God, that's a big, almost 50%.
That's
Yeah.
1.6 million
Wow.
opportunity lost. So my bank panicked
Mm.
and they said, AD, we cannot continue your credit line because it's risky. I said, so contrary to the story, but that's the Philippines. That story, the rumors was it's a business failure. No, it was not a business failure. It was a situation where it beyond my control.
Yeah.
Um, so when my credit line dropped out, so how can we function if we don't have that credit line? So we
Yes.
have to hold back, and reconfigure. Okay, but now, but now because of the Ukraine war, prices of corn is like 22 pesos.